Evening. Oops, hold on, guys. All right. Good evening. We are a day away from the start of the CrossFit Games, and we have a special guest before John and Tyler jump on. Uh, Shelby Jones. She was on the CrossFit Believe team. If you saw some news earlier today, which was very, very unfortunate, and it's been a rough 24 hours. And I asked Shelby to jump on to start the show and kind of talk about what happened. So thanks for joining, Shelby.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for getting our story out there.
Yeah, I mean, I woke up this morning and saw the news on the Instagram, and after Josh had kind of posted the bad news and reached out and you responded, kind of shared the story. But can you kind of share the timeline of what happened yesterday and kind of give some details?
Yeah, so we went to check in right about 10. Probably were there for I don't know, probably about an hour and a half when all was said and done. Went and got some food, and then we went to a local gym, about 2, I would say, probably 2 p.m. And we were getting ready to do a workout, and we really hadn't even started doing anything. But the gym had a ramp that was made out of wood, but it was like ramp, parallettes, wood, like solid wood, parallettes, stairs.
Mm.
And so Josh is really good on his hands. He's always on those things. So he was like, hey, you want to go try that? I get really apprehensive when I see parallettes. So I was like, no, I'm good with that. You go ahead. And first try, he made it up the ramp, across the first set of parallettes, was almost across the last set of parallettes, and he said his hand slipped out, and his arm actually hit the ground. So at first, because I was in a distance, I could see from like an angle that was opposite of the side that he hit. I thought it was just his shoulder. So at first I was like, oh, Josh, like, come on. And then I heard his wife scream, and I was like, oh no, that's not good. And all of a sudden you just see blood pouring out of his face. And luckily there was a guy there. His name is Cody. I can't remember his last name. I want to say Acree, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
He was there. He was very like on top of it, grabbed towels, kept Josh calm, and Josh wasn't even really freaking out. So we were kind of like, oh, he just has a bloody nose, you know? And then Cody's like, we're going to go ahead and we're going to call 911, like hinting to somebody else, but trying not to freak Josh out. So long story short, ambulance came, and Josh's wife, Katrina, looked at us, and she was like, you need to call Francisco. This is probably not going to go well. So we were like, okay. We didn't really realize how bad it was. And Josh is such a competitor. He was like, am I good? Like, I can still compete, right?
Right.
We're like, yeah, you're fine. Then he got rushed to the hospital right after that.
Oh man. So
Yeah.
So you said you called Francisco. So you're that's your one of your alternates. So you had both alternates, right?
Yeah. Well, they weren't actually there.
Yeah.
We're in Missouri, so it was a 7-hour drive, but we were like, hey, just in case, you might want to be ready.
Yeah. So yeah, that happened at night. He goes to the hospital. When do you hear like he's going through have like emergency plastic surgery, and kind of get updates through that?
I want to say maybe around 5:30 or 6:30. A few hours after that, they figured they were gonna see the plastic surgeon. We didn't really realize how bad that was, but probably a few hours after that. But right when he went with the ambulance, we were like, okay, let's go talk to athlete control. It's all of our first times being there, so we were like, I guess we're gonna go back to where we went and figure out who we can talk to about all this. So we went to athlete control, and we were like, we don't really know how bad it is, but we kind of just want to figure out our options. And I think her name was Beth and Angel. They were great. They were like, yeah, we'll try to get a hold of whoever they need to talk to. But they're like, as of right now, I mean, it's a 95% chance that it's not gonna, like, you're not gonna be able to use your alternate because you guys have already checked in. We're like, a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a couple hours after we went to the gym.
Yeah. When I found that out, because I asked you, do you have a chance to have an alternate? The first thing I think of is, oh no, like you're not gonna be able to compete, but then you have an alternate. And I was hoping that would be the case. And I shared that on Instagram and in the article itself. And obviously, like the entire community is like supporting you and hoping that there's at least a change of heart, right? That like, hey, maybe that could happen. But it sounds like that's not the case, right?
Yeah, I mean, so Angel had said 95% chance it's not going to happen, but we're still waiting to hear. And then about 30 minutes later, she had found us and she said, yeah, we've heard it's a no-go with your alternate. So we were like, okay, because our alternate is in the Air Force. So we were like, we need to keep him posted. It's not impossible for him to get here, but because we have, 2 days still, but we need to just he needs to let his bosses know it's a process. You can't just leave work,
Right.
So we were just trying to get some information, and they basically said not going to happen. And then after the overwhelming, I mean, social media is loud, and the overwhelming support today was just amazing. And I'm like, maybe there's a chance, And so I went back this afternoon after the opening ceremony, and I said, I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to hear it straight from the horse's mouth and see if there's anything, So I talked to Boz this afternoon, and he said, we can't make an exception for that. So
yeah, that's rough.
Just another blow.
Yeah, that is very rough. And it's definitely unfortunate because I think that's why you have an alternate. Like you have not started the competition. At least that's how I feel. So it's,
I understand that there's always, maybe some people who would try to cheat the system with that. I get it. And I actually appreciate that they're trying to be consistent. So I can't fault them for that. But, obviously in my case, I want to be like, okay, break your rules for a second. It's not like he smashed his face on purpose.
Right. And like, I think maybe you said, or one of your teammates said, like, you'd rather just let us out there as a team. We'll take zeros. You'll get to be on the floor for Thursday, Friday. And
right. We didn't care if the three of us went out. I mean, Hayden was willing to do all of the guys' work by himself, or like at least hit whatever minimum work requirement is, right? Like none of us have ever been before. We just it felt like the carrot was dangled and it was just ripped away. So we didn't care if we took zeros on everything. We didn't care if you didn't even give us chip time or whatever. We were just like, just let us out there. It almost would take some pressure off and it would just be more fun, but no go.
Yeah. Clock wrote in here on the comments. This is a case where rules are rules is dumb. CrossFit needs to exercise some discretion here and admit that their rule doesn't do justice to this situation. How about an appeal to Dawnfall? Obviously, you talked to Adrian. Tyler, were you able to make it to the press conference this afternoon? No. I'm curious to know if that was brought up during that. But yeah, I mean, if Adrian's saying no, then it's probably
and he
no.
was, to his credit, he was very respectful. I mean, he heard me out and took the time, which obviously during the CrossFit Games is a lot to ask for, but he didn't really give much of a reason. I mean, I get it was kind of a rules are rules situation, and I just can't help but think that if it was a different, better, higher up team, what would the situation be? But it is what it is.
Yeah,
we still got to go and at least experience this part.
Yeah,
I spoke to several analysts and people that are involved in the games, and this was we talked about the cases where you could shift this rule. So what if it was first event you needed, that was when your roster was sealed, and everybody's like, well, then you would find out the workouts and change your roster for who's better on your team for those workouts. I was like, okay, that's fine, but then you're locked in with those people. And in this case, it's everybody wants them to do a one-off, but I respect the decision. I think everybody feels this way. They respect the decision that they're trying to stay true to the rules. Yeah. And so it's everybody feels terrible, but it's a weird situation.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I love CrossFit, and they've had some inconsistent behaviors over the last couple of years. So I do appreciate that they are trying to be consistent. Just kind of sucks that it doesn't pan out in my favor because of it, but it is what it is. It's just a freak thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you, Shelby, for taking a few minutes out of your evening and
Thank you.
really really hope that Josh, I saw his update this afternoon. I won't share it on YouTube to get a strike because that was pretty gnarly, but hopefully he recovers.
The pictures.
The pictures. That was pretty rough.
Yeah.
So
He luckily does not have to, as of right now, does not have to undergo a second surgery. So that's good.
That's very good. That's very good. Well, tell him we're thinking of him, and good luck to the rest of your team. So
thoughts and prayers out to him for sure. Thank you, Shelby.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
Yep.
Oddly enough, I just left the gym where he did that. And they have the ramp there, and there's still like blood stains on the box.
Jesus.
It's like a wooden ramp, and Taylor dragged me over, and he was like, "Look at this," and I was like,
"Yeah." JR thought he knew what it was. I won't bring up the gym itself, but it's he knew which one it was. I think he had been there, but that's pretty wild. Before we get to some late breaking news, I do want to mention, if you see down there, a new sponsor of our coverage here for the games, GoWad. GoWad is sponsoring, so make sure you use the QR code or go to gowad.app and become more mobile. It's something I'm probably needing to do, so be checking that out. So yeah, go ahead.
I spoke with Tebow about this. I didn't know.
Yeah,
he didn't fill me in.
It was very last minute.
Yeah, no, it was cool. He's super on board about everything we do, and I love that we're involved with him. And we got really deep into like their response times on, like, if you have a problem, their response time is like 6 hours. They want to get to you within 6 hours. A personal, like someone who's dedicated to you. So I didn't know that about them actually. Mm-hmm. Like I've been on their app, but I didn't know that they had that kind of service. So that's great.
Yeah, no, Tebow has been amazing. I worked with them back in 2019. I mean, it seems like all the big names are all moving to that way. So very happy to have them on board for the weekend. So make sure you go out and support those guys. As for the breaking news, as much as we loved the coverage the last couple of days, we now have announcement that the next 4 days we will have the games on ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPN Plus throughout the weekend. So kind of happy to see this. It's something that I think back in the day when they did go with ESPN, it was definitely got the word out of CrossFit, and hopefully, given how what the programming is and how they showcase it, that it does get some more exposure for the games and CrossFit itself. John, thoughts?
Oh, it's super exciting. I mean, I talked to people today that they might not have ever walked into a CrossFit gym, but if you talk about the CrossFit Games, they'll go, is that the thing that's on ESPN sometimes? And like, they just say sometimes because they don't know that it's not, it hadn't been on there since 4 years, but they remember seeing it then, and it sticks in their brain. For people who don't do CrossFit, I'm saying it reaches so many more people. Like right now, I think CrossFit is great at talking to people about CrossFit, people who are into CrossFit, talking about CrossFit. But as far as reaching people that don't do CrossFit at all, could not care less. Like ESPN reaches those people without, trying. It reaches those people. So it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely agreed, Tyler.
Yeah, I sort of figured this was coming based on how weird they were being about some of the timing and stuff like that. So, but it is good to see. I remember watching it back in the day, and then it's like I was able to share it with my family and them want to do it more. And so, yeah, this is a good move.
The Tony Tone, it's crazy. Will called it on Savant podcast.
Well,
I think we
kind of knew beforehand.
Yeah, we did. Or at least had a very good idea that was probably going to happen. But
right.
Wanted to wait till the official announcement to make sure that it actually was legit before sharing it, because we also didn't know any details on it. So, that is a good announcement there. And then also, if you go over to the Barbell Spin Instagram, I just posted it. Partnering up with Reebok the rest of the weekend. So if you go on to the last post I did a couple 30 minutes ago, if you go tag the barbell spin, Reebok, and any athletes that you are cheering on this weekend, I will be picking 3 random winners to earn a pair of the new Bold X3s, as well as this shirt here. Community is everything, no bullshit. So kind of a cool last minute thing that I'm working on with Reebok. So if you are a big fan of the Reebok Nano X3s, go on over there and participate, and you might get a pair sent to you. So I guess other than that, lots of big news. Couple new workouts released last night that we've not talked about. So I guess before we get into the actual workouts, we know all of tomorrow for the individuals. We know 2 on Friday, and then we know 2 on Saturday. I guess, what is your initial impression, John, of what we've seen so far?
How do you mean?
Just what do you think of the workouts as a whole? Like, if this was going to be like, from what we've seen today, like so far, right? These 7 workouts, like, are we seeing a well-rounded test? Do we need something else that we've not seen to kind of fill those gaps at this point? I mean, we know Helen's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I feel like it's pretty darn well-rounded, other than, there probably needs to be a barbell workout before the first cut. So within the last workout on Friday, I'm waiting on 50 snatches with 155 and 105 for time, something like that. That's what I'm, like, and that would be a fun event to watch, right? So I feel like there will probably be a barbell-esque event, just an event with a barbell in it. Doesn't have to be super heavy, but barbell cardio,
Grace.
It's one of the. Well, that's why I said we're already doing clean and jerks with the kettlebells.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's why I said snatches. But again, it can be heavy, or doesn't have to be heavy. Just a barbell in it, right? I know they like to do sprinty stuff on Friday night. Last year it was the Echo Bike snatches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I expect. Other than that, I feel like it's pretty darn well-rounded. I'm really excited to watch a lot of these events. I'm really excited for the ski bag event. I'm really excited for the really all of the events except, I don't really care about the 40-minute ride. I think they could ride for 5 minutes and we would know the order of 40 minute, right? Like I feel like we could do that in a very short amount of time, but I'm fine with it. I'll be on the plane when that event's going on, so it doesn't matter to me. Koski and Horvath are going to win that, and then that's, everybody else will fill in after that. Other than that, I'm really excited to watch all the events so far. There's not an event that I'm like, I don't care for. I think it'll be fun all the way around. By the way, we'll talk about it later, but I just watched a video of Fikowski explaining event 3, and it is like, I know exactly how that event's going to go. But it takes some explaining to get it. It's not like you can't just read it and get it. The way he briefed it, it's very interesting how it's going to go. So when we get there, we'll talk about that. But yeah,
before Tyler, you jump in. Tyler is now on the top of his analyst leaderboard for AUD. He surpassed Brian Friend. So kudos to you, and we'll see if he can keep that title.
I'll be there Thursday, girl. So Friday, I'll be on top, I feel like. But
yeah, give John. I met Audrey this afternoon. Give John a shot. He'll win you over. He's a sweetheart.
I lived in the hills in Kentucky for 2 years. He's from Pikeville, Kentucky. Go ahead and look it up.
And Pikeville's a buy-in, man. You don't live out there if you don't want to.
Yeah, 100%.
So he gets the what do they call that? Anyway, so yeah, as far as the workouts go, I love the ride. I'm really happy with the workouts. Like I'm interested to watch every single one of them.
Well, just stop at the ride. So you were out there. You went out and watched them warm up yesterday.
Yeah. So I tried to be as analytical as I could. I knew. So they kind of mock ran through it a little bit. And, Boz gave this speech of like, hey, try to actually do it, but you could tell like Fikowski wasn't trying. There were several athletes that they were just coasting it, but then it was weird because like Koski came in first. And so I wanted to be like, hey, do you just want to like uber dominate everybody, or were you like, I don't know, were you just actually that much better than everybody?
Hey, take it when you can get it, man. That's the only time he's going to be able to flex on everybody. You might as well.
Looking at what we see here, yeah, probably.
Yeah. So it's a 1.5 mile track. It is uphill for the first little bit, and then it's downhill for a lot of the last half. But there is an obstacle, so it's probably like a 2.5 foot. Like you could think about it like a plywood jump. Yeah. So I watched Rich coaching some of his athletes today on how to like hip the bike up and go over. I think a bunch of athletes are going to lose time on that if they can't figure it out in 40 minutes.
It's a lot like cyclocross. They had, I think, very similar.
Yeah.
They may have been a little bit shorter because I think some of them tried to like hop it without getting off and it didn't work out too well.
That's like a Ricky move. Like I'm just going to jump it.
I think Alethea Boone posted today like a memory of her flipping over their handlebars in practice trying to do that.
You were supposed to jump that jump though. She was just bad.
I think, yeah.
So I think the athletes will have an advantage on that. And then it's only a 235. I walked it. It's about 235 yards around that. It's like you go 100 yards. John is married like the rest of dudes. So it's like 100 yards downhill. So you got to run with the bike next to you or however you want to run with it. And then it's like a 35-yard transition left. And then it's back uphill 100 yards. And then you got to go back over another barrier. And then it's back on the bike. And so you'll see the athletes make distance on on those two transitions. Right. And then maybe a lot of the athletes said that run was a break. They felt like they could calm down a little bit on it.
Yeah, but the people who can push that run are going to gap people on that run.
Yeah, right. If you watch Oldest on Hiller's video from yesterday, he was saying he was catching up 3 people each time. So he's going to push it. So that'll be interesting to see if he does it differently than the rest of the field.
I think the Europeans are going to do well. I mean, they're just no bikes better than Americans.
Should. Yeah, Europeans are way better at biking than Americans. We don't bike here. I don't know why. We should.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah. Everybody does in Madison, though. Jesus. Driving around town is everybody's on a bike.
That Yellow Hosta is an interesting pick for the bike ride because endurance beast, big, and from Europe, you would think he'd be good at this. But obviously we don't know until we see it. We have never seen him on a bike, but you would think he'd be good at this.
Yeah. Were there any standouts? I know, or people that if you're thinking about playing them on the Heat 1 app that you completely avoid?
I want to say this gingerly. There were several females that I think that you might think would do well on this workout that aren't. So be very careful about who you pick in the females.
You're going to name names?
If they're not someone that strikes you as an athlete, they're not going to do well in this. That's what I'll say. The men all seem to handle it. Yeah, if they're not the men, the heavier men were all in the back, except for I think Cornway is going to be a really good pick on this.
I saw Colt Grieshaber was in the back. He didn't do well last year at Bike to Work, so that's one that this is not doing well for him.
You're saying Olivia Kersetter's not going to kill this one?
I will talk about this. This one surprised me. And this is the problem. Like, I wanted to talk about this on the app a little bit, like maybe think about this as your pick or that as your pick. But it was hard because it was like, are these athletes actually trying? So one in particular was Emma Carey. She was in the back and far in the back. And I was like, are you just memorizing everything? Like, are you not trying and you're memorizing? Or are you this uncomfortable on the bike? I couldn't tell. Her breathing was elevated, but it's going to be after a 6 minute.
She's one of the best ones on the Echo bike. So it should equal power on a real bike. It's just being comfortable on a bike if she's slow. It's not ability.
And if they know how to use some of the gearing too. If they just sit there in one gear because they don't feel comfortable switching, they'll get
that stuff's not
toasted.
hard though. I don't.
You've seen it over and over again.
If you're this fit, you should be able just to figure that stuff out on the fly. It's really not difficult.
I talked to several athletes. I talked to several athletes yesterday that they said they spent the first half screwing up the gearing, and then they're like, "Okay, I kind of figured it out." So
you just play around with it, and you're good.
Right. This pre-trial, I think, helped a lot of them. It would have been an entirely different animal, and it probably would have been more interesting to a degree if they had
just let them go. They can't touch it until they get there.
Yeah, like who's trained with a bike, who hasn't, who's trained with a geared bike, who hasn't, all those things. I
prefer it that way.
Yeah. It's for the men, it was a 6-minute cycle time. For the women, I think it was about 7.5. And I think for the women, the main thing that was the difference was the men are very like, I'll just sell my soul. And if I crash, I crash, and I die, I die. But with the women, I think they were more timid. It seemed like some of them weren't. The ones out front were very aggressive, but some of the women in the middle, especially, they were more timid. And I think that might elevate their heart rate through about half of the workout because they're just being nervous being around other bikes until they get over that fear. So that's my analysis on the ride.
Any chance you think we can get our hands on a couple?
Oh, on what? A couple of the bikes?
Yeah, later on, Tyler.
Good luck with that.
We could try.
After the event, I'm saying, after.
Yeah. We might try.
Dennis O'Leary, thank you. $4.99. Thank you for the content. So this is just the start. We have 16 shows scheduled for the next 4 days. So stay tuned, hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss it. So we'll be on every morning at 8 a.m. Central, an hour before the first individual or team competition hits the floor. And then we'll be doing event recaps after every individual event.
Thanks, Dennis. Help pay for these shirts.
Exactly. The barbell spin. John, you got yours.
They look good.
He's got them. Yeah.
They're really good. They're tight on the arms. So Susie was like, "You look jacked," and I was like, "It's just the tight arm.
It's just the shirt."
And you're official. You got media on the back of them, so it's you're legit.
Yeah, we do look legit because of the media on the back. That was a good touch.
Yeah. Clock. Americans ride bikes, but meatheads that end up in CrossFit gyms don't.
That's true. Truth. Jason looked really competent on the bike, but I think they do spend quite a bit of time doing that. So
you can always ask Eubanks for a bike. Maybe have Hiller do that for you. So yeah, I mean, going back to the overall programming, Tyler, I know we stopped to the ride, but overall, what are your thoughts?
Good. I love the ride. Are you talking about all the
in general? Like, again, like how do we see these 7 events that have been announced? Like, are we feeling good about it? The balance. Yeah.
I think the first day is definitely balanced. If not, it might lean a little bit to the gymnastics side, I think, but I think it's pretty balanced. I'm happy with those first 3 tests. That the pig flips on that back end, I think, are really going to scare people, or not scare them, but they're going to give them a little bit
rip people up.
Yeah. And then it's funny because that's like a very gymnastics specific workout on the front end. But I'm not mad about it. Like, you've seen everybody training that stuff this year. The donkey kick up on the platform's a little strange.
Yeah.
But besides that, like, I'm happy with it. These are not things that are super hard to do.
That's not the technical term for that movement, Tyler.
The donkey kick. I'm going with donkey kick. Let's patent it. TM. But
before you move on, LDY 2742 1999. Going back to the ride, my showstopper on the bike is Rebecca Vidison.
Yeah.
Did you see her out there?
Yeah. She looks great. I mean, she's an athlete all around, and she's definitely fit. She's gonna be a force.
I mean,
there you go.
With 6 events, like if you have a top 5 event.
Oh, you're good for the first cut. Yeah.
Like that sets you up for Saturday. As long as you don't just bomb 2 or 3 of the other ones, like that's what you need, is one of those in your wheelhouse for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I see here alpaca redo. So it's pretty cool to see. I mean, we'll see how different it is. Do we think that it's going to be much different, John?
The winners, no, but after that, yes. If you like, especially on the women's side, I think the women's side could be a lot different. A lot different. I still think Laura is going to win, but Collar's pretty confident Alex Kazan is going to give Laura a run for her money. And I mean, I would love nothing more for Kazan to beat her, honestly, because nobody thinks it'll happen, myself included. So, I mean, if that happened, it would be pretty darn awesome. And we'd talk about it, and it'd be a race at the finish line. It'd be great if Kazan was ahead of her and then Laura tried to charge her on the sled. Just makes for a good race. But, yeah, I mean, if there's a seated legless and there's 6 of them, absolutely. It's going to stop a lot of people in their tracks on the rope climbs. But though I mean, Roman and Laura I think will still win. But everybody after that, it won't be like last year for sure.
Yeah. Jared Graybeal made a comment on my Instagram post about the workout, and he was kind of asking like, what's going to play more into it, like the strength piece of Roman or the rope climb side of it for, like, say, somebody like Colton.
No, the rope climb side for Roman, because Roman's a freaking monster at those legless rope climbs too. Like, it's not just Roman is great at that. So is Laura. I mean, no, they're not the best in the field. Medeiros is still way better than Roman at that seated legless rope climb. But Roman is very competent at it. It's not like it's a weakness of his.
But are you saying which one, like the kettlebell clean and jerks are a weakness for Roman potentially?
No, the kettlebell clean and jerks are, I mean, that's what Roman crushed last time, right? But like, if you look at just the field in general of this workout, who's going to do better, the legless rope climbers or the stronger
strength athletes? I think
it's
legless,
really well balanced.
Yeah.
Because 270s ain't no joke, man. Like, it's and it's 12 reps, so that tempts you to go unbroken. Everybody broke up to 20s, and then Roman went either 15 unbroken or 10 really short break, and then 5 and got ahead of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But 12
and it's going to
tempts you to go unbroken,
and it's going to feel different now too, because you're going to have those 2 rope climbs in there, so you're going to have the push and the pull. I think those second, third rounds of it start to get pretty spicy to finish up.
I think it's definitely a bigger man's workout, but you have to be good at legless rope climbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you are good at legless rope climbs, it's a big man workout.
I could see Jeff Adler making a run too to win this event.
Mm-hmm.
I know Roman killed everybody, but I could see Adler coming up on it because he did well in the other one, and Adler's very good at legless rope climbs.
Yeah.
Vellner was already there. I think it hurts Quant a little bit, but not that much.
Quant was second, I think, in the returning field on this one.
No, yeah. No, I
guess you're saying with the rope climbs added in.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think it's still top 5 material. I just think it hurts him a little bit, but not that much. It hurts people like Hopper.
Yeah.
I think Hopper takes a hit with the 6 legless rope climbs because I think people like Justin will beat Hopper, where before he wouldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see. Top.
Clive, 1:10 a.m. over there in England. So he should be sleeping, but he sees an opportunity to watch live for once. So happy to have you, Clive. Hopefully we see you there tomorrow too, as we're doing all of our shows. Tyler?
Top 3 picks for the men for this workout are Roman Karenikov, Justin Medeiros, and Patrick Vellner. And it's Roman by a landslide as far as that goes.
As far as the pick goes?
Yeah.
The Heat one. Yeah.
And then Laura, it goes Laura, Alex Kazan, and Danielle Brandon. And again, Laura by a landslide on that one.
Danielle Brandon did not do well last year in this event, guys. She got like 10th.
Do you think it was the thruster that got her? And it's like
the clean and jerk, you mean?
Or clean and jerk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it was last time.
It was a sled push and a clean and jerk, and I think she's fine on the sled push. But like that clean and jerk was really heavy for her, and the legless rope climbs, I don't see that helping her or hurting her. I think she's fine, but she's not like Alex Kazan. You know what I mean? in event 6 in the semifinal, she made up all of her ground on the handstand push-ups. It wasn't the legless rope climbs where she was just killing everybody. So like I don't know why everybody thinks she's so great at some things, because she's not.
I like her better in the inverted medley than I do
100%. She should rip that to pieces. Inverted medley.
Yeah.
She's probably the number 1 pick, Tyler, is she not?
Who?
Inverted
Laura?
Danielle Brandon.
Danielle on inverted medley.
That's workout number 3.
Yeah.
Top woman is Danielle Brandon, followed by Ariel Lowen and Katrin Davis' daughter.
And I think that's a beautiful top 3.
I think Alexis will do better, but
then who in that?
Katrin.
Okay, I wouldn't argue against.
I also think Alexis. I think Alexis will do well in alpaca. She did.
Yeah, she should.
She got 6th last year, and I can see her majorly improving. Like, I think she looks stronger this year than she was last year, and then the legless rope climbs definitely help her. So
I would agree.
Yeah,
Alyssa Fuliano.
The inverted medley. For sure.
So did you all see this morning? I was training last night, and I saw her the moment that they released it, and she was stoked. So
that's my pick on Heat 1.
She's great. She's
that's who I'm picking for that workout.
She's actually an interesting one because she could make it past the both cut. Like I think she makes it past the cuts with these workouts. The ski bag might hurt her. But I think the pig flips might hurt her, but it just depends. She always surprises me. But she's one that it's like, you probably want to play her. I think you definitely want to play her on the first 2 days, and then maybe save one for after the 20s. She's such a surprising athlete. Every time I watch her, she surprises the hell out of me.
If anything, it just gives you another opportunity to play Danielle Brandon and Ariel Lowen at a different spot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, that's how I think about it. Oh, I can, there's a specialist in this workout. Maybe she doesn't win, but she gets top 3. That just gives me another spot where I can pick Danielle Brandon on some, you know what I mean?
This is what aggravates me about the fans is Alyssa is picked 5th for that workout. She's the 5th highest picked athlete. And it's like, no, I think she's the obvious winner for this.
I don't know. I mean,
she's obvious. I think she's obvious top 3, right?
I think so, yeah. But I we'll see.
But she's picked 5th.
That's not that far off, Tyler.
I'm not surprised.
65% of the votes are for Danielle.
And there's not enough handstand walking for Danielle Brandon to blow the field away. Danielle Brandon is the best handstand walker of everybody by far. She's a tier above everybody.
Who's in the field right now?
It's not very much handstand walking. It's free handstanding push-ups and 16 pullovers and pirouettes. That's not speed.
Alyssa is lighter. She did extra pirouettes like for 2 rounds last year and still beat people in that workout where they had to do pirouettes. She's lightning fast on her hands. And she's like, where she's shorter, her arm span's smaller. So the freestanding handstand push-ups are just going to be better. And then the pullovers, like, she's lighter. It's just going to be easier for her to get over.
Yeah. Fee, Katrin, Emma Lawson. There's a lot of women, I think.
The deal breaker on this specific workout is who can get up to the pirouette on the way back, where you have to get up on the box to do the pirouette, the donkey kick, as Tyler likes to put it. Who can do that who has that in the back? Because I bet not very many people do. I mean, I'm sure people will get through it, but like just I got that. And can just do it on cue, right? And I think very few people do. Alyssa Fuliano is one of those people.
What just came to mind, have you seen those videos, those memes of those dogs that like hike their back legs up and then they essentially are doing a handstand walk and they're peeing all over stuff?
Yes.
Wad Zombie, please cue that up and be like Alyssa Fuliano on this workout.
It's 7-minute time cap. Like, you've got to be moving. I'm really curious to know what Victor Hoffer did on this. Like,
he just probably went unbroken through the whole thing. That's however fast that is.
Yeah. The question is, how fast is that?
Not hard to figure out.
I don't think very many will do it unbroken.
No, I don't think any of them will. But like he probably did the 16 pullovers unbroken, and I bet not very many people do that. And then that, probably broke up every 2 handstand walk sections.
Yeah.
I like Jake Douglas for the inverted medley.
Do you know?
Pick him, man. Get it.
How high up is
Get
he
after
on the inverted? Has anybody selected Jake Douglas?
0.05%. He has one play.
Listen. You know who's going to be
source.
okay? You know who's going to do okay in this
Bronislaw?
event? Bronislaw. That's right.
Always.
If he has the press out to that walk, he is going to be fine. And when he's top 10 in this event,
this is going to be the battle of the weekend. I'm definitely team Douglas, and John is definitely team Bronislaw. I feel like every time.
For sure. Absolutely.
But if you go back to cut 2 or second cut in 2019 and go watch Braun on his hands, he was amazing. He was great.
Listen, he killed everybody. The only guy that could beat him was Fraser, and it was by like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Third place was like 30 seconds behind both of them.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been if Fikowski didn't eat it, because Fikowski was on his way to third place, but then ate it and then got cut, and it was a bad thing. But
who's the best pick in the men?
Sneaky skills, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Who's the best pick in the men? You think?
Medeiros?
It's hard.
Who would you play? Not who would you play? Who do you think will win?
It's hard to go against Justin.
Yeah.
Vellner should kill this. It's a bunch of gymnastic skills. He should kill this. Justin has beaten him in every handstand thing. So it's just hard to – Justin's really good in his hand. But I don't know if he could do that press out. That's such a niche skill that Vellner should have, right? Theoretically. And who can pull over efficiently, right?
Yep.
Mertens is a sneaky pick on this, because Mertens might just spin around that pole.
Nick's my pick. Nick Matthews is my pick on this. Yeah.
It's not. I mean, that's fine too.
It's a solid pick.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you, John. I think it's going to be.
Nate doesn't think Douglas makes.
Oh, he's making it 25th, baby.
Not lining up well for him yet right now.
He's gonna make it.
Hey, there's no swimming, so that helps.
Right.
There is no swimming. Absolutely.
That dude's sinking like a stone.
I really would like him to make the first cut, just so I could see him run the 5K, and then that will be my first goal, to beat Jake Douglas in the 5K. You know what I mean? Once I do that, I'm like, okay, if 18 people get hurt, I got a shot.
They have the RV park. So the 5K is through the RV park. Part of it is, and so it's kind of closed off right now. I almost didn't make it through. They were about to shut everything down. But it will be fun. Like, there's been people running the 5K all day. So
Jeff Jardina, wait, was it confirmed no swimming? Did the athletes receive swim? I assume suits.
Swim?
They did not receive swimsuits.
I could see them doing something sneaky, like giving them to them the day before.
But
that's the first event on Sunday is paddleboarding.
No, first event has to be Helen, unless the variation does not include running.
Why does the first event have to be Helen?
I'll show you here in a second.
Okay. Hey, no, great.
Did athletes receive
North
swim?
Park and you can't run in the college?
They did not.
Is that why?
Yeah. So if we look at Thursday, we know all 3 events there. We look at Friday, the only one that's left is in the Coliseum, right? So again, if Helen was on an air runner, or it had maybe they run out of the arena and come back in. I don't know. I mean, that's the only
other.
That
for the run clean events.
That's a good point. That would be cool. Maybe they do that. So maybe that is a possibility. I hadn't really thought of that. So Helen could be, if they run outside the stadium, come back in and do it. Now, just speaking of Helen itself, the standard, if they do the same standard with the kettlebells, that's going to be a bit of an issue.
Well, they're not going to be doing kettlebell swings.
Yeah.
So,
And then on Saturday, the last event is in the Coliseum, or the second event is in the Coliseum, in between the Olympic lifting and the 5K. And then Sunday, there's only one out in North Park. So it would have to be where they do the movements in the Coliseum, but go run outside the Coliseum for the 400 or whatever they're going to do, which I guess could happen.
What if the last event of the CrossFit Games was just regular Helen?
Just regular, just let them rip it.
Just
That would be so disappointing.
I know, it would be big let. They would run fast though.
They would.
You know how fast they would run? They would send it so hard on that.
Or you're getting people in the bottom. They're just like, I don't care.
Yeah, Jessica, Jake is lucky with no swim. Definitely agree with that. Although Marco's hoping for swimming Helen. Ski bag. So last night when they posted it, they didn't put any weights on there, but now it shows 200 for the men, 125 for the women.
I don't know why we have to go lighter for women.
I think it should be 150. 125 seems 100%. Way too light. I was talking to Michelle about it, and she was like, we're going unbroken for sure.
And Michelle, no offense to Michelle, but she ain't Laura Horvath. You know what I mean? So if Michelle's thinking we're going unbroken,
yeah,
a lot of them are going unbroken. Now all of a sudden the ski is important, which is the exact opposite of what James said.
I have ridiculously short arms. Hopper gonna eat this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have ridiculously short arms, and a 125 is not hard to hold for me at all. And so it's like the smaller women are still going to be fine, I think.
Yeah.
It's a weird workout as far as comparing it from males to females. And do we still know the standard on where they have to hold it? I
don't think they've shown or given any announcements. No, if they're doing it at the briefing. Doesn't say yet.
Yeah.
I have to imagine it's bear hug. It would just make the ski way, way tougher.
So you think this is going to be like a millisecond battle between Hopper and Roman?
No.
I think Hopper wins.
I think Colton Mertens wins.
Colton called his shot. He said he really likes this one.
There's no way he can keep up on the ski like Hopper.
There ain't no way they can keep up on the squats.
Do we think any of the guys can go 30 unbroken with 200?
I think Colton will go unbroken.
Especially if you're
the way James said how afraid James was of people going unbroken, and how he said, I don't think so. And everybody was just thinking, no way people go unbroken with this. And then that makes me think, okay, so maybe one or two guys can. If Colton is one of those guys, it doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, yeah, Roman might beat him. If Roman's the other guy, Roman probably wins. But nobody's going to have the squat speed that Colton has. He might knock out 30 when Fikowski's on 15. You know what I mean? Like really think about that. He could do that because if they're standing up and pausing and he's just cranking away, it doesn't matter how slow he skis.
I wonder what his wattage he can hold. But those last 20 sandbag squats is where you want, like, that's where you're going to see, like, somebody's going to drop, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And
well, I mean, yesterday y'all were talking like everybody was going to. Like, you can't do it unbroken. That's how the tone was yesterday.
Who was saying that?
James on the Sevon podcast.
Yeah, I was like, I wasn't saying that.
I kind of expected 150, 100, and make him move fast. So that really
makes it a ski workout, though. Like then you might as well give it to him. Then that's a Hopper Roman.
Yeah, with 200, I think there are going to be a good portion that can't make it.
What's a 30 cal ski as far as time wise? You think
a minute?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's 1,800 cals 1,800 per hour. Yeah.
And then that 30 sandbag squats is what, 2 minutes?
30? No.
Unbroken, it's a minute. And then that 20 cals, you're probably tired, so that probably takes a minute.
Yeah.
And then the 20, if you can go unbroken, it'll take a minute.
Yeah, 4 minutes.
It's going to be a really, really fun to watch on that last set. that last set's going to be.
But
So
I
Hopper.
say if go ahead, we'll talk about Hopper.
No, just Hopper. I'm just saying that. So
That's who you're rolling with.
But if Colton doesn't speak, so when he says I'm going to win this workout,
yeah,
like, okay.
The last time he said that was Linda, and he beat everybody by a minute, beat the world record by a minute.
So if I'm playing Colton, I'm playing him on ski bag. Also, ski bag is the next best insult of all time. You freaking ski bag.
Richard Krinklewagen. Okay.
Krinklewagen.
More amazing games coverage by HQ today. I could not agree more. They definitely
was it good?
Upped it. Yes, it was amazing.
It was really good. It was because it's Chase is here.
It was great. It was yes. It was everything you wanted. So
are we being facetious?
Just maybe.
You guys can't do that to me because I literally did not watch the live stream all day.
Is there coverage of the what's that? The live stream? Yeah, the live stream.
Oh, it's been great, Tyler.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You're pretty unfortunate you can watch it live and actually see the people. So
to actually see somebody.
Jimmy Gross, is there coverage of the briefing? So I don't think so. I don't think
they haven't let us in.
And you're not even allowed to go back there anymore like you used to. But
you got to be super special, super secret squirrel media to do that.
Yeah. Anything else here? DR, the CrossFit Games coverage is friggin' worst. They are going to take the camera. Are they going to take the cameras down on the floor? Well, once the individuals go, I think we'll have a full broadcast. Right. I don't know what they're going to do with the age group and adaptive tomorrow.
Man, it's a shame too. I was watching some of those the age, like the teens and the masters athletes, like they're really impressive. It's really a shame, but I mean, like it's really changed my tune about masters and teens. Is like you can't it's hard to care when we can't even see them or get any stories about them. But like, I don't know, maybe I'm just a Caden Hogan fan. Like watching those teens was great. They're really good athletes. They're so far beyond what we were at that age. You know what I mean?
And Helen was a great race. Like I know you can complain about the kettlebell standard, and I think that was kind of garbage, but
at least it's consistent. I think it was an easy to judge standard.
It was.
And so I'm okay with it.
Yeah. But even if you watched some of the contraband live streams on Instagram from the athletes, some athletes like Sam Briggs was doing full extension kettlebell upside down at the top, and all of her competitors are not. And Sam was having to beat him on the run, which she still got second, I think. But
what a champ move.
Yeah.
Because she did that on purpose.
Well, no, I think she's used to being judged a little bit harder than them.
Well, it's been going around like everybody's like, no, that's just the standard. So like we're gonna do it to the standard that they have. And so I mean that's a really I think she made that choice purposefully. Stand up move from the champ.
Tommy Payne, $5. Thanks for doing this, guys. Really appreciate it, Tommy. Thanks for tuning in. And then we have the cross country 5K and the Olympic total that we've talked about. So overall, we're kind of, it seems like the programming is pretty much on par. How's the crowd so far, Tyler, after 2 days?
It's so loaded. There's so many people here. It did not feel like this last year. And it's like, I don't know, like there's some weak spots, like Nobul's tent's kind of crap. Like you can definitely see like marketing has been pulled in a little bit. I think with money going the way things are, things are pulling, but like the fans are here and like they're really stoked. Like the atmosphere on campus is really solid.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not even the individuals haven't even started.
Yeah. Question here from Jessica. How did Jason Smith's results come back so late? Are we going to hear about another athlete popping after they've already participated in the games from semifinals? I don't think so. Do you guys think?
Ricky got
Well,
on the podium.
That was from the games.
He got through the semifinals, though. He tested clean at the semifinals.
So my theory on what happened with Jason is, if you go back to 2018 World Championships for weightlifting, there were 6 Thai weightlifters who tested positive after the initial drug sample came back clean. And what they did is they did some special crazy test on it that came back and found these metabolites of whatever they call them. My theory is that they saw something in the drug test of blood work that was probably elevated testosterone, and they went and did that extra test, which took an extra couple of weeks to do. That's kind of my thought on it.
Late.
Yeah, because I mean, they had the first drug test that tested positive was Angelique Conaway, and that was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So they had Africa's in. So that's my belief is that's had to have happened.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Where'd Tyler go? When you look at no swimming, if the freestanding handstand push-ups are only handstand push-ups we see, how does this really favor your boy Vellner and then Laura Horvath?
I think it favors Horvath more than Vellner. Like, don't get me wrong, Vellner's, he's not upset that there's no swimming, but that weakness of his is far less of a weakness than handstand push-ups for Laura Horvath. If Laura Horvath does a handstand push-up workout and it's not 0 points, I think she's going to run away with this, man. Like, I don't see anybody coming close to her. If that's what the handstand if those are the handstand push-ups, that's all we're going to see. I don't see anybody coming closer. There's nothing else that she can't do.
Right.
There's no other weakness that she has other than that. And that it's so glaring when it happens. But what else is she bad at?
Right. That's it.
Where can people make ground? Because we've already spit out 3 or 4 events where she's in the running to win it.
Mm-hmm.
So where is Danielle Brandon going to make ground up on her? Where is who else is that? Emma Lawson is going to make up ground on her. Like, I don't see the spot where they can make up ground on her to beat her.
I mean, the freestanding handstand push-ups they're not easy, but they're not hard. Like, as far as muscular,
she's not gonna
like
get 0 points.
Right.
No.
It doesn't matter. Like,
yeah.
Vellner, Justin can make up ground on him by just being better than Vellner in any given event, any given CrossFit event. The Olympic total, they're probably pretty close. The 5K, I'd take Justin.
Yeah.
There's the inverted medley. They're pretty close.
Right.
I'd still take Justin, but they're pretty close. The pig chipper, Patrick should he should theoretically win over Justin. But you see, they're going back and forth. I'm looking through the events. I can make a case for both of them back and forth. The alpaca, the legless rope climbs help Justin. Now they help Vellner too. Vellner might be up there with Roman now, but Justin's just going to be up there too. Like, he's not going to make up much ground on that. So like they're going back and forth, right? It doesn't help or not help Vellner. Horvath, this is a golden ticket. I don't see where anybody can beat her if that's the handstand push-ups we're going to have at the games.
Do you think we see any more, or
why would you?
Yeah, you already had them.
And it's like, I don't know. Like, you could do another pressing movement, but we have the clean and jerks, and it's sort of pressing, and that's a shoulder intensive workout. Why? Like, what would you learn about an athlete to do more pressing, specifically handstand?
Yeah. And if they're strict, say they do happen again, and they're strict handstand push-ups, I don't see them doing a strict deficit when they're already free handstanding push-up.
Right.
Like, it's already a very hard handstand push-up thing. I don't see them doing another very hard handstand push-up thing. It'll be like 40 strict handstand push-ups in the middle of a workout, right?
Yeah.
And she can
Right.
manage those fine.
Deanna Arniella, I can't believe Horvath and strict handstand push-ups is still a point of conversation. She won Rogue. She won event 6 of her semis. Can we get it over it already?
I mean, she's still not great at them, especially deficit. You know, if you could do weighted, I don't think she'd be good at them. It's still a thing, and we have to be wary of it. But yeah, I mean, you're right. But
Deanna, when
we
she
have to
takes
be cautious.
0 points in 3
Yeah.
different events in 3 different years, it's still a talking point.
Problem.
Mhm.
You know, they were wall-facing strict handstand push-ups. That's not a strict deficit. In a strict handstand push-up deficit, Laura is the worst in the world amongst elite women. It has
By
to be a
a
talking
large
point.
margin, especially
Like
the
the
people
worst
who are on the
word,
podium.
and she's so good.
And everything
so
else.
good.
Everything.
Other than Tia, she is the fittest woman in the world, right? Like I think, but up there. For her to be the worst in the world at elite in elite women, it's always going to be a talking point. You know, Feldner can't swim. It's a talking point. And he's worked on it really hard. It's
Right.
when we have a swim, everybody's going to be like, "Oh man, it's not going to be good for Feldner." Right? Like it has to be a talking point.
Burton, do the events that are shown so far help Annie? Is she a legit podium threat based on the announced events?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think Annie's going to kill everything that's been thrown out there. What is she not going to do good at?
She's not a clear podium, or she's not a clear top 3 on all the events we've talked about, though.
No, but all together,
Yeah, altogether, she's good. Like, she doesn't have any holes here.
there's no event that's been announced where it's like Annie's not going to do very good in that. The 5K is probably her worst one.
That and I don't know, how'd she do on the bike back in the day? I don't even know.
She's
Like
fine. She got
cyclocross.
I remember her looking good. Yeah, she looked good
Annie's
on the
fine
bike.
on a bike.
Like I feel like the ride in cross country, just even a top 10, top 15 is all you need to do in those. If you're one of the top CrossFitters.
Yeah.
Like you just don't need to, you just can't bomb.
Yep.
Going back to Sarah Beth, she's hoping for some more. They did echo press and lots of handstand walking at separate events last year. I just don't know, like, what else does Boz have in store, right? Like, we're doing Helen. What else? Like, there's thrusters, ring muscle ups, like that could be in Helen. I guess, what have we not seen that we expect to see? Like, obviously, you have to see some type of barbell in a Metcon, but in what form? Deadlifts?
Why are they hiding the events that they're hiding this far? That's what I wonder.
I think everything except Sunday should be announced by now.
I think they want to wait for the last cut on Friday. Probably after ski bag, they'll make an announcement.
Ski bag. I
That's
can't get over it.
Yeah, I mean, I will have barbell cycling at some point. So I think I could see a heavy deadlift, rope climbs, of some regular rope climbs. I could, and then ring muscle ups.
There's no rope yet. Jump rope.
Thrusters. No, yeah, jump rope. That could be in the gymnastic skills, honestly. If event 8 is still gymnastic skills, you could have the P bars. Everybody thinks L-sit's going to be there. Like, that could be a separate gymnastics test altogether.
No row yet.
Yeah, and what biking event is there? Is there a biking event?
Well, there's a 40-minute one.
Just that.
No, that's what so like
like an
there's
assault
usually
bike.
always
Yeah,
a
yeah,
sprinty echo bike event.
Oh, echo bike.
Right. There hasn't been a machine event. What's crazy is like all these events seem really good for Roman and Laura, and we haven't had any machines. I guess the ski.
Well, ski.
We got the ski.
Yeah. I mean, don't they have the bike erg for one, like the adaptives or age groups?
I'm not sure.
I mean, they have every machine they could want to have.
Yeah, but I don't think.
No, but it's programmed. I can't remember.
Well, they do. So tomorrow, Endure the Coliseum. Tomorrow morning.
Oh, I
have-
thought you were looking at individual for a second. I was like, what's final positions?
Oh no, no. So this is the age groups tomorrow, the last two.
We haven't
They'll
had a dumbbell thing, right?
Ring
Not had-
muscle ups.
Yeah. GHDs. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Ooh, GHDs. Yeah, I could see that this year.
Then there's not any jumping yet. There's usually a good amount of jumping
Yeah.
at the games.
But look at that, box jumps, GHD. Yeah, so you're kind of
speaking of box jumps, Chelsea Nicholas in the 35 to 39 was leading at that gymnastics chipper and tore her Achilles on a rebounding box jump.
What height was it? Was it just regular 20, 24?
I don't remember.
It doesn't say there. It just makes me wonder, like, because you've seen so many athletes doing high ones.
Yeah, it doesn't
You
say.
probably have to look at the individual sheet.
Yeah, a lot of them were stepping down.
Yeah.
But she was definitely she was in first place going into it and must felt good doing it. And then, she felt like there's just a snap in the back of her ankle, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess anything on the individuals before we move on to teams, like, I mean,
I'm ready to get it on.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been sitting here waiting, and can't wait to just see him get on the bike and get out there. Teams, do we have anything else? We have the 2-2-2-2 redo, which is a whole bunch of stuff. Overhead squats, ski erg, legless rope climbs, synchro overhead squats.
When the 2 minutes are up, the first pair stops working. Well, it turns out okay.
You each get 2 minute rounds.
Each pair has 4 intervals to work, so 8 total intervals.
Okay.
All right.
Bike relay. So yeah, both of them, 2 bikes per team, max laps in 1 hour.
Did you see? Were they practicing today?
I missed it, but yeah, I could see it off in the distance. It looked like a lot of them were really trying, like for the couple minutes I watched from the distance. But they looked like they were moving fast, and so I didn't see any major like crashes or anything, which you would expect more of out of the teams. I think.
Yeah. Any weight on the overhead squats? I've not seen any weight that's been announced on it yet, and they don't have it listed here. So, Nate said, I don't know if he's speculating 185, 125.
I could see 205.
I think they go a little bit heavier for 175.
Yeah, because you have ski erg for 12 calories is not going to take but like under 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah. One seated legless rope climb, that's like 15 seconds. Are they going to climb back down? Do we know? Like, is it like this?
Yeah, probably 20, more on the 20-second side.
And then, I mean, maybe you could do like a ton, but I would want to kind of keep it a little bit heavier to like really, really tax their system. That's just me though. 185 just feels a little light for the games to me.
Yeah. I think we should feel pretty good about ourselves. Tommy Payne said that the CrossFit podcast currently has 143 watching. So
what do
we are at 400 right now. So
good.
This independent media is doing something. And then they do the ride relay in the afternoon tomorrow, the Olympic total, the cross country, and then on Saturday, run lift relay, and then the lift run relay. So was it complete as many reps as possible in 3 minutes? Female 1, female 2, a 400-meter shuttle run and max rep snatches. And then I assume they switch. Or no, the second group then does 10 snatches, 400-meter run, shuttle run.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's almost like event 4 and 5 to some degree, right? Like instead of a max weight, it's just max reps, and then a set number of snatches into a shuttle run.
This is interesting because like people hate the AMRAPs, right?
Yeah.
And so you're sort of doing that a bunch for the teams here.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't have as much. People hate that, but I don't have as much problem with it as other people do.
I don't mind AMRAP.
like JR's big against like programming AMRAPs. It's a little different for individuals. Like you're gonna accumulate so many more reps versus with teams. It's like it's spread out over people a little bit more, and then also it's like within these 3-minute windows. So yeah.
It's, I mean, outside of the cross country 5K and the ride relay, everything's short, like very short.
Yeah.
That's on here.
So you're running that 400 in a minute and a half.
A minute?
A minute? That's a 4-minute mile. I don't think they're running that fast.
In a minute.
What's that?
I think a minute and a half.
That's
minute and a half on the safe side, though. Sure.
Sure.
Minute and a half, and then so like I'm trying to judge what's the snatch weight, right?
It's probably the same as semifinals for the individuals, 185, 125.
Yeah, and it doesn't say synchro; it just says max reps.
Yeah.
I wonder also if they have a tether. Like they have to run together.
Then it's slower than a minute and a half.
This is a 400-meter shuttle run.
The shuttle run too. Oh, like that's slower.
I would make them definitely synchro it. Like they both have to like cross the line. Like both of them have to be apparently across the line at the same time, and then keep doing that.
But then you're at the mercy of your females.
The same thing with the cross country 5K. They're all tethered.
Right.
So it's really just the slowest person on that, which I struggle with.
I don't like that at all. I would rather like female 1 does 200-meter shuttle run or 400-meter shuttle run, and then they do 10 snatches with 125.
Yeah, but
then male 1, and then female 1, 2, and then male 2, and then that's your score.
Yeah. If you're going slower as a guy because you're waiting on the female, you can really like you can probably get more snatches out, right? And so I'm not saying it's the best thing, but it might be something that I try just to push the teamwork.
Yeah, I see what they're trying to say is like you're only as good as your slowest link in that 5K, but you get no benefit for being a good runner in that. Like you don't test other ones where it's your worst person.
Yeah.
So I know the teams are there's some really good teams out there. It's just I struggle with the workouts that have been shown so far. So maybe I'll change when I start watching it, but
you're gonna watch teams.
I'll watch the final heat.
All right, that's cool. I'm gonna defer to you then. Okay, don't ask me about teams. I gotta go to sleep here soon, guys.
Yeah. So we're about gonna wrap it up here. So when do you fly out, John?
We fly at 5, so we need to get to the airport around 3:30, and the airport is an hour away from our house. So
awesome.
We are gonna wake up at like 2:15, and it's gonna be super fun. Yeah.
But the good thing about the airport at that time is you can move through it fast.
Yeah. No, so we don't have to get there that early, but tell my wife that. So it's and then Tyler, the bus station's at the college. It's the college bus station.
Just text me. I'll pick you up.
It's on Lake Street. Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll text you when we're on the bus.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to go to the media place like immediately to get my wristband, and then we can walk in and watch. Should make it in time for the last heat.
Yep.
For the pig chipper, watch Vellner go to work.
That's right. So yeah, and then tomorrow morning, Tyler, you'll be on 8 a.m. Central Time. We have a special guest, Lucy Campbell, will be joining us tomorrow morning, and then Derek Brown, who, if you guys are been with us since I started the podcast last September, he is joining for that, and then hopefully we'll have some other special guests throughout the week. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification button. We have 16 at least shows scheduled for you guys the next 4 days. And there's still time for you guys to join the Heat 1 app. So make sure you go join that.
Please go tell your friends to download it. We passed 4K this morning. or
awesome.
this afternoon. It's been
Let's
great.
hit
I've had
5K before the game.
I would
starts.
love 5K. Like, seriously, tell your friends, anybody you're at the box with. We have a search function now, so if you know their username, you can compare. You can search for them specifically and compare your scores. Everything helps, guys. Like the conversations that I've had around this app, like I owe it to everybody who's in the app playing and everybody who's helped. So thank you so much. Like you're changing everything for us.
I heard after 5K, it's going to cost $1.99. So you better get in quick before it gets to that point.
And it's weird that link goes right to John Young's bank account. It's strange.
I don't know how that works, but
Yeah. And if you guys haven't seen, use the QR code or go to gowad.app. Thanks to them. They're helping sponsor this coverage this weekend. And then as always, Vindicate. He is our proud apparel sponsor, which as you see, Tyler is wearing the Barbell Spin Media shirt. Spin around there and let's see that media on the back of it. Let's see.
Sorry, I'm all.
Look,
make sure it's clean, Tyler, so we can wear it together one day.
Look at that media. So make sure if you guys are in Madison to stop Tyler, stop John. Meme for Time, Roderick and Dom will be coming in. I think they're getting into Madison this tonight. So hopefully they'll be wearing a Barbell Spin shirt as well. They're there for us.
Erin's here. She's working like a machine. It saw her earlier. So it would be great to have them on to just see their point of views, like what they're seeing.
Yeah. So if you see on Instagram, Erin is doing the photography for us. So she's putting out some great photos. So make sure you go follow her, support her work, and guys, appreciate it. And go get some sleep, John. Tyler, go get something to eat. Go rest up. You got a long day ahead of you.
Thanks, guys.
So,
thanks everybody in the chat and the comments. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See you.